Ladies and gentlemen, coming out of retirement, the first of probably many times to review Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2, the Nostalgia Critic. Well, first of all, the applause and everything else you had there, it's very kind of, it's not deserved. Okay, so, show of hands, how many people have seen this movie? Get out! You do not deserve to be in the same room as normal, breath-breathing people! Okay, sorry, that was a little harsh. It's just this movie is a little, bad. How do I talk about this movie? Well, maybe like this. Okay, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's plenty of time for that. Okay, so, anyone here have seen the other Twilight movies? Get out! No, okay. Again, jumping the gun. Whew. Okay, so for those of you who are fortunate enough not to experience the first, we had 4 Twilight movies, and now we have part 4, part 2.3. We have a film where Bella is now a vampire, an emotionless beast. Not much of a transition. But the great thing about it is now that Bella has become this creature-sucking, diabolic piece of ass of the night, that means that everyone else is so excited that they want to move at the speed of light every chance they get. And I'm not just like, okay, like when they're fighting and a vampire wants to go fast, they can go faster. Do it! You're a vampire. Use your right, but like, she wants to get a book, and suddenly it's like Benny Hill. Oh, that's an interesting book. It's like, zoom, zoom, like a fucking roadrunner. I don't know why. I mean, if she checks her phone, it's like, 8:15. Why? Why? And everybody does this. And there's no way to make it so this is not funny. It's hilarious. Every single time she goes to whatever, check the oven timer, I want to say, I'm Speedy Gonzales, the fancy mouse in all Mexico. But no, that would be prejudice against Mexican people, and Lord knows we haven't been prejudiced enough against the vampire genre. So, okay, she has given birth to a beautiful CG baby. I'm not even kidding. This film is so cheap they couldn't get a baby. Maybe the baby was asking for too much money. I don't know. But you have this thing that's making Baby Geniuses 2 look like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. It literally looks like somebody just took the label from baby food of the baby going like this and just moved his mouth. I'm a vampire! That's the baby. And yet somehow it still emotes more than Bella. I don't understand this. But, okay, as we all know, the baby's future husband, Jacob. Oh, missed that part? Okay, let me explain. Jacob sees this baby, gets a wolf boner, says, hey, you know what? In hopefully 18 years, I bet she'll be hot, and I just might want to do that. A nice bit of tails, considering that I really do have a tail at times. So, okay, you have the baby, grows up pretty fast, and I don't mean like, oh, they grow up so fast. No, I mean within a day, she's like 7. And you're saying to yourself, oh, well, how many days or years or months or whatever went by for that? Well, they don't tell us. For all we know, literally, they have a dissolve of the baby, somehow standing up to be measured, the toddler, and then the 7-year-old just dissolving, and you know what? Maybe it was real time. We don't know. Stephanie Meyer's made up so much shit about Twilight and vampires and stuff like that, I believe anything. If you said that vampires can suddenly shoot web out of their arms and swing around like Spider-Man, you know what? That would be awesome. I would actually see that movie. You know what? Just anything outside of sparkling My Little Pony sparkle, they're the only ones that are supposed to Again, getting ahead of myself, okay. So, we got Jacob, the future husband-to-be to Bella's daughter. And we have Edward, who still can't emote out of a paper bag. In fact, this duct tape here has much more emotion than Edward ever will. See, you believed it hit the ground, which is much more than anything Edward's ever done. And they're concerned because one of their cousins sees the little 7-year-old prodigy, the Rosemary's Baby, if you will, who is walking around and says, I don't recognize her! I'm gonna go tell the Vampire League of Shadows, or whatever they are! Okay, so she goes and does that, and of course Bella sees that the cousin sees it and says to herself, oh, wait a minute, this is bad, because she's gonna say that, and they're gonna think she's an abomination, and gonna come down and kill her. And they're preparing this army, and they're getting all the other vampire brethren people, sparklies together, and they're like, oh, we have to fight. You know what? Here's an idea. You have cell phones. She's your cousin. You probably know her number. Maybe just give her a little call and just be like, oh, hey, it's cool. It's totally cool. It's my kid. Yeah, no, immaculate birth. Well, yeah, we sparkle too. Just go with it. And you know what? We could avoid it. We could avoid this whole big battle thing. Oh, the big battle. Oh, let me tell you about the big battle. Okay, I will get to that. Those of you, how many have read the book? Get out! Okay. For those who read the book, you know what's coming and you know this is justified. Okay, so you have Bella, and you know, the little CG 7-year-old baby person. Oh, they CG the 7-year-old into like a hot, 20-year-old in a future flashback. Yeah, wasn't that some pervert's dream come true? Jacob's probably. And so they go and they tell this guy who I swear is like an anorexic version of Andy Serkis, who loves to overact even more than Andy Serkis. I mean, by God, Andy Serkis could do the Gollum voice and he's still more credible than this guy. I mean, this guy hears that there's, this immaculate birth, and he's just like, ah, and what are we supposed to do about the vampire blood? That was subtle compared to what was in the movie, okay? And then they have this really cool thing where they get all the vampires from all across the world to see the immaculate bitch. And she touches people with her hand, and apparently that convinces them, oh, it's female Jesus, awesome. And everybody looks at her and it's like, okay, we're on her side. Awesome, great. The only downside is that for whatever reason, the brethren don't get this news even though they're aware of everything that's going on, but they don't hear this little thing. Hey, you know that person we're trying to kill? Everybody's saying that she's, the real deal and really awesome. And we're vampires, we sparkle, we look like Gollum and overact like that. Okay. So, we get to... Okay, let me just think if there's anything I'm missing, because there's so much. I just want to build up properly the ending of it. Oh, let's talk about the father. Yeah, the father, one of only 2 likable characters in the entire movie, the other being Jacob before he turned pedophile, was actually really nice and really smart, always going along with everything, until he hears that Bella might be dead. Well, that kind of sucks. Yeah, only daughter dead. You know, if it was Bella, I'd be in the same boat the more I think about it. But anyway, so you got him there chopping wood. Jacob goes, shows he's a friggin' werewolf. The same reaction as Bella. And goes in, Bella, totally willing not to tell her dad that she's alive, just let him believe that she's dead, and gets really mad at Jacob when when he goes and tells her father that he's actually, that she's actually alive and kicking and screaming. Well, not kicking and screaming because that would allow emotion, but that she is in fact actually alive. Gets mad at him. Of course, Edward's backing her on that because, he's her bitch. So he goes and, listens and says, what's going on? That boy's a werewolf. And she says, don't ask questions. He says, okay, what? He just goes with it. He's just totally fine. I mean, it's maybe the occasional question, why was he a werewolf? I don't know, and he's fine. And I say to myself, you know what, this is a loving family, anything like a loving family where, you know, they actually care about each other, which again, who could care for that little Satan spawn that's tooling these two boys around like they're Lego pieces and they're just part of her little Barbie franchise and they're gonna make them... You know, it makes sense that if you're using them as like these Barbie, you know, toys like she is, that she would make them sparkle. I don't even think Stephanie Meyer exists. I think there really is a Bella Swan, and she put the story together, and she's just trying to show all those people in high school that, you know, that really overweight, ugly person that was really awkward, and everybody laughed at her for laughing at the vampire game, and, you know, really getting into it and stuff. They're just like, oh, hey, you never become anything, ha. She's just like, how would you? I'm gonna sell my soul to Satan to make this stupid shit actually popular, because everyone's gonna read it, they're gonna like it for some reason, it's not gonna make any goddamn sense, they're gonna be like, oh, so romantic, and then we're gonna make some sort of stupid spin-off that's gonna sell out like to S&M, and that's gonna be a big hit because everybody's into S&M right now, and yet I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the climax. Not the one you're thinking. No, wait for Jacob and the... Anywho. I don't know if this panel is rated. So, okay. We got this great big build-up. This is the only moment in a Twilight movie that's kind of cool. You have all the vampire brethren, all those people from Eyes Wide Shut in the cloaks. They're lined up, ready to march across the ice, because the ice doesn't break here apparently. And all the vampires and werewolves are on the other side, and they line up. And they're there, they're about to have their big Lord of the Rings battle and stuff like that. And they look at each other and say, we want to kill the child. And the Bella's like, fuck you! Or no, screw you, because we get your heads getting chopped off, but we can't say F you, because then that would get an R rating. What is up with the MPAA? Okay. So they go. And they say, this child is not going to be a danger. She's going to be fine. She really is immaculate, blah, blah, blah. So everything appears to be okay. But the Gollum leader there looks it over, and he looks at the child and says, oh, let me feel you. It's not as perverted as it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. But bottom line, he goes over, she touches his face, and suddenly he sees that everything they said was true. Great. So there's no problem, right? Well, he decides he may want to be a dick. For no other reason except he may want to be a dick. So he goes, and this, what's her name? Alice, the woman who can see into the future at times when it's convenient for the plot. She comes up, and she goes over to the Gollum vampire. Lets him, you know, touch her hand, because that allows him to see into the future. Can they both see into the future? I don't know how it works, but either way, he sees it. She says, oh, you're not going to change your mind no matter what happens. He fucking balls, goes crazy. All the vampire costume show, they go running towards the vampires and werewolves. All the werewolves and vampires, they go running towards the other. And I swear to goddamn, that these things are ripping heads off. Werewolves are coming in, they're taking vampire, putting it on, going, and then the vampires are coming in, and they're going over here, and they're just like, oh, help me, this is Twilight, bitch, and they're dead, heads are flying everywhere. This one guy, because suddenly vampires are like the Planeteers, and they can do fire, wind, earth, water, not hard, because that would actually require having a soul, so they get down, and they go, boom, the ground is breaking, it's like a fucking earthquake, everything is falling, vampires, werewolves, falling down. I'm like, is this Twilight or Lord of the Rings? What the hell is this? It's unbelievable. Bella and Edward look at each other in a legit badass moment. They look at that Gollum vampire and they say, you're going down. They rush towards him. Edward finally uses Bella for what she should be, a human shield. Whacks him out. Knocks him to the ground. She gets on his head, Edward tackles him like a football player. They rip the Gollum head, vampire head off, throw him to the ground. They're about to burn him alive. Everybody is falling to their graves. Heads are flying, blood everywhere. Dakota Fanning, headless. All this incredible stuff, the most awesome, holy goddamn shit ass you wouldn't believe. that you are all overreacting because this is just a movie. Except that every goddamn person in that theater, even the Twilight fans, had the exact same goddamn reaction that you have right now! They looked at the screen and they went, what? They don't even care what the explanation is. They go, what? It's like an automatic, when someone hits you, you go, ow. You see bullshit like that, you go, no! And they... Okay, Dream is pushing it because Dream would actually mean, there'd be some credibility. No, it was the vision that the Alice chick who can see into the future is giving the creepy Gollum Vault vampire guy to see what would happen to him if he attacked her. And he says, well, shit, that sucks, bye, and they head out. So, after all the Twilight movies, all the bullshit, 2 movies, divided up, actually telling us the moral of the story. The moral of the story is if you sacrifice nothing, do nothing, play these boy toys like boy toys, you can live happily ever after as the blood-sucking demon that you are. Fuck you, Stephanie Myers! So what did I think of this movie? I didn't like it very much. It had some chance of maybe becoming something at the end, if just for epic stupidity. But instead, what we have is one of the stupidest, worst franchises that has ever existed in mankind. Back up. Someone put me back in the plot hole. I'm the nostalgia critic. I remember it so you don't have to.